task 1, okay? And this is B, okay? So task 1B. You've already done 2 pages about storytelling, and you've gone through that, and that's great. Now the second task. This is where it links. So now you have the 2 comparison pieces. You're looking at the pros and the cons, how it goes together. Now the 2 pieces, let me explain again. There is 3 tracks given to you by the task. You've got one by Phil Collins, you've got one by Britney Spears, and then you've got a war song as well. All 3 of them are different if you've listened to all 3. So the Phil Collins, of course, is about homelessness and the role of homelessness and how that's portrayed, not in America, even though that's where we saw it, it's actually portrayed globally, but particularly in the UK. So with that in mind, that one is about homelessness and the process of that and the story that that lady had gone through and how she witnesses every day on, bluntly what goes on with her and how people treat her or doesn't treat her and how the fact, of course, she's looking at it. So that's the hopelessness one. If you're looking at Britney Spears, that's to do with fame and to do with her personal life and what's been going on with her and how it doesn't matter what she does, the paparazzi are always going to snap it because there's always people out there who want to know her business and the roles of that positively and negatively. And then of course the third one is a trench track, which is from the very first World War back in 1914 and how there's been explaining what it's like on that front World War and what it's like to be going over the edge and who you miss and the developments of it and how to be recruiting more sergeants and more army into the World War. So all 3 of them are really, really different. Now the idea is you pick one. The track you compare it with is your choice. You do not need to do one to give it to you, okay? You take a track from your own choice. It doesn't also need to have the similar theme. Most people have done that, but you don't have to do it on fame. You don't have to do it on homelessness, on war. It's up to you. But the idea is how you critically analyse the concept of storytelling with how it's developed. How are these composers doing this? So when you look at both of the tracks and look again at the inquiry questions, reword them round while you critically analyse them. And yes, use your ATL skills so you can be able to critically compare. So look at, for example, fishbowling, look at, again, PDA circles, look again at decision trees or 6 thinking hats or other techniques. Look at what they are from your task sheet and go, right, this is, it wants me to look at what is storytelling and how does the composers use that storytelling to convey a message. Right, I'm going to look at Phil Collins and I've compared it up with another track to do with homelessness or something different. How do both of them do it? That's then where all these key words come in. I need to see in this, and so does Mrs. Snape in a really big way. You don't just say dynamics, you're telling us crescendos, diminuendos, accented expression, falsettos, pauses. You've used dotted rhythms, you've explained brush techniques, you've put in simple time, irregular time. You started to talk about harmony, so you're looking at the chords, if it's in the major, whether it's in the minor, okay, so major chords, minor chords, whether you've got things which have been extended, whether they've been arpeggioed or not, okay, whether you've got 2 keys at the same time, yeah, so you've got like a major and a minor together to give it more of a point and more of a story. Have you got word painting in one track and in another? One classical and one hip hop. How have you done it? So when you're explaining these pieces, you're pulling it apart, completely pulling it apart. This task, have the scores in there, have bits of not all of the lyrics, have a bit of the lyrics, have the chord key section, have the rhythms there, annotate over it, tell us. You don't need to have everything in prose. It doesn't need to be all written, but it does need to tell us in depth, how does this piece been affected for its original concept? How is it showing us in its displaced concept? How's it showing the original, so the processes, how's it put together? How's it tell the story of emotion? How has that person actually tried to portray sort of the cultural element to it? And so on. So when you go through, it's 2 pages and it's a critical comparisons. You do not need to have a whole history about the background of who the composer was or the story or anything like that. That can be short and sweet, sure, but instead it's how they've done it. How, why, where, show us. If you do that, looking across at the criteria, you will then get yourself into substantial, which is 5, 6, or excellent 7, 8. The more connections, the more critical thinking, the more explanation, the better you're going to do. You do it general, I can't mark that, sir can't mark that. So go back through nice and clear. So remember expression, remember culture, remember global, and of course remember concept, displays concept and process. The very last bit in your conclusion, as I've said in your feedback, start thinking on how the 2 pieces and the background of storytelling could be an ideas on areas you're looking for your own personal task. That is task 2, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. Thanks guys.